Flexible is great because you can prototype handles, grips, gaskets, any type of cushioning or dampening. I know medical devices or biomed, the field, even just medical in general, they can simulate cartilage with this material. If you're familiar with durometer and short A hardness, it simulates 80 short A hardness, and it doesn't bounce back perfectly, but it's great for a couple of times of, maybe up to 10 times of usage in a functional prototype. Printing flexible is something that's not the most common, but highly desired in the additive and 3D printing worlds. And so this is definitely a way that you could do it. You can get more detailed these days. They've improved on the materials more and more. So you can do intricate details. I wouldn't go crazy with the amount of intricate details, but you have a good limit. The only thing about this material is that it's hard to sand. So if you're thinking about support structures and you have, depending on how this tubular piece that's going around would be printed, if you orient it a certain way, you would need supports on the inside. And if that piece needed to fit over something else because it was a grip piece, support scarring would affect the tolerance and you wouldn't be able to get it on. So that's the only thing. It also wears and tears over time. So this is a material that you will see tears in the more you use it and the more it sits out in the sun because it's continuously curing. So it hardens naturally. So you're not going for longevity here. You're literally going for the 80 short A hardness. These are some examples. The upper left was actually quite a large part. It was really interesting. We don't see that very often. But the other three images, they're fairly small and so small that the camera even picked up on all the remaining dust on the part. Not great photos, but you can see you can get pretty precise with them, which is very cool. But the thing that most of these parts, except for the upper left, have in common is that they're small, and that's partially because how large would you in real life go with a flexible soft touch part? You only see them in limited areas. Again, I wouldn't do any of these blocks of the bottom left. If you were to print that out in flexible resin, it would lose all of its properties. It can't flex anyway because of the nature of the geometry. Anything aesthetic, I mean, unless that's the purpose, I wouldn't go for it because of the costs. And hollowing flexible pieces it just doesn't make sense. You have pliability in areas where you normally wouldn't if you were to hollow out the image on the right. Anything that's really fitting any sort of casing too, unless it's meant to be in flexible, I also wouldn't print it because it's not going to retain its shape. Chances are if you're prototyping and developing a casing, you need it to be stiff, you need it to be strong, or you need it to hold together. That's not the case with this material in general.